How's it going? Thanks for joining. This is my first time doing a vertical stream on YouTube, so give me some patience while I try and figure this out. How's everybody doing today? I have Rex here. This is my dog. He had a bit of a medical thing this weekend, but he's better now, I think. And he's a sweetie. He's just as stubborn as a Krogan. So, yeah. It is Tuesday here in Southern California, and I'm going to be unboxing the Modifius board game for Mass Effect. I've already played it about 4 times already, and I will say the first time we played it, it was very challenging. There was a lot of setup, and there was a lot of things to keep in mind with the rules, but overall, once we got the rules down, it was very satisfying. So that was cool. So I'm gonna start unboxing this, and I'll give you guys a good idea of what's up. Here, I'm gonna pull this down just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and I got my Rex pillow here, Garrus, Grunt is over here somewhere, and my N7 pillow. So here you can see one of the box. Very pretty. I do like the art. I think the artist did a really good rendition of all the characters. My only complaint is maybe that Shepard kind of looks like she has blue eyes instead of green, but it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. And here's the back, which you may have seen already. Oh yeah, but I see that it is reversed. Hold on, I wonder if I can change that on here. Maybe not. Let me see. Is there even a chat? Like I said, I'm new to this on vertical streaming. You know what? That's fine. We are fine. So anyway, here's back. And I realize that everything for this is going to be flipped, so maybe when I repost this later, or if I'm able to repost it later, I will flip it the correct way so you guys can see. So when you first open it up, you see the rule book. Oh, it's not reversed. Good. Well, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. So here's the rule book. This is probably one of the first things you'll look at when you open up the game. I would recommend doing that. It's nice that there is an icon reference in the back. And it's great because you're going to need this. I am a Mass Effect fan first and a board game player fifth. So I have not played too many, but it's nice because we get some context for the game. Here we go. So here is some of the art and some of the story that's here. I think this is a really cool painting of Liara and Shepard going at it, Cerberus guys. And at the first mission, well, the very first option of a mission that you can do is with Cerberus operatives, so that's kind of cool. It feels like it ties in directly with the story that is being told here. So I can read what this says. I wish I could hold it up like a picture book, but with vertical it's a little tricky, but I'll see what I can do. So it says, let's see if you guys can see it. Okay. In the year 2186, the civilizations of the galaxy are at war with a relentless artificial enemy called the Reapers. Commander Shepard's warnings of their arrival were all ignored, and now the Reapers have invaded the galaxy in force, crushing all resistance. Earth has fallen. Palaven, the Turian homeworld, is under siege, and their military might barely holds the enemy at bay. The Reapers are pressing into the galaxy on all fronts, and it is only a matter of time before the races of Citadel space are crushed beneath their onslaught. So some setup there. There is still hope. Commander Shepard has assembled a crew of trusted allies aboard the Systems Alliance stealth frigate, the Normandy. Excuse me. So this takes place during the events of Mass Effect 3. They have the schematics for the mysterious Prothean superweapon, the Crucible, but constructing it alone will not be enough. Shepard and the Normandy crew are racing to forge alliances, build a unified front capable of defeating the Reapers before they overtake the galaxy and complete their harvest of all biological life. All the while, the insidious terrorist organization Cerberus advances their own agenda of human supremacy at any cost, led by the mysterious elusive man and his army of ruthless operatives. So that's kind of the main opening page. When you first open up the booklet, there's a table of contents, and then of course credits for who worked on the game. And I see some familiar names in there. Congrats to everybody who worked on this. It is a beautiful, very well thought out game. So then when you open up the next page, it has a message from Hackett, which I'm not going to read because it's a little long. But it's basically showing the context for the beginning levels that you can start out in. And there's also an overview. So it says, Priority Hagalaz is a cooperative tactical action game for 1 to 4 players, following the crew of the Normandy as they infiltrate a downed Cerberus cruiser. The game takes place over a campaign of 3 main missions and 2 optional loyalty missions, which is really cool, each taking around 45 minutes, if you have the rules down, which can be played in a single sitting or split across multiple play sessions. So then it describes the squad, who each person is, what their abilities are. So they have Shepard, Garrus, Liara, Tally, and Rex. It says you can use the same squad mates in each mission of your campaign or change your lineup for each mission. It's up to you. Also, players are free to change which squad mates they can control between missions, which is really nice because when we first played, when I say we, I mean like me and my friends and my husband were here, I had Shepard. My friend who cosplays as Garrus was Garrus. My other friend was Liara, and my husband was Rex. And then, so when my husband and my other friend who played as Liara weren't able to be here, we were able to take on those characters and play them in subsequent missions. So we played, I think it was 1A first, which is like on this map. This is the mission book that you'll be referencing heavily. And it's nice because of the spiral binding. You aren't going to mess up any pages. And so you have an option to choose which maps you want to use or which mission you want to start on. So this is 1A. This is the very first one that we started with. And it was a challenge. I'm glad that they started us off with this map as the first option because getting the rules down, getting the gameplay down was definitely quite a bit. You might need a practice run or two and kind of keep reading the abilities for each character. I would say, if possible, if you're able to play with a group of people, I think it's better to play with a group of people, focus on one character. That way you can get used to the gameplay, you can get used to the way the mechanics work, and then that way you're all in it together instead of you playing all 4 characters at the same time, because you really will need all 4 characters for each campaign. It can get a little bit overwhelming if it's just you, but if you're well versed in board game playing, you might be fine. So just keep that in mind moving forward. I will say there are a lot of dice in this game. That we used a dice tray to help us out with that. My hands are a little smaller, so I wasn't able to hold all 12 or even 13 or 14 dice, but I did my best, so there was that. Keep that in mind. Maybe have a dice tray nearby. Let's see. So when it talks about sharing control for the characters, it says, in a game with 4 players, each player will control a single squad mate, but you still use 4 squad mates, even if you have fewer players. A solo game is easy. The player controls all 4 squad mates. If there are 2 players, each one controls 2 squad mates. In a 3-player game, 1 player controls 2 squad mates, and the others control 1 each. So that's really handy and good to know. After each mission, depending on if you choose Paragon or Renegade, or depending on the choices that you make in the game, you will have more or less war readiness, which is really cool. And sometimes the choices that you make will end in victory or defeat. So that's kind of fun. Oh, thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. I mean, it is Shepard. Come on. I mean, she's a total babe. Not gonna lie. So it says for victory and defeat, each mission has clearly defined parameters for victory and defeat. Victory comes in two varieties: Paragon victory, which usually requires extra effort but scores higher war readiness, and Renegade victory, ruthless and efficient path to victory. Whether a mission ends in victory or defeat, the squad will always advance to the next mission and continue the campaign. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that defeat could still advance to the next mission. That's really cool. Lewis says, I'd love to see the Mass Effect voice actors play the board games as their characters. Oh my gosh, I know, right? So something my friends and I were doing was we had a soundboard and we also tried like using our voices. Like the characters, of course, were nothing like the voice actors, but it was fun to try and do that. I have been asked about roleplay elements for this game. I will say the characters, the way they're written, I mean, they seem pretty in character. You could be, you know, Steve, we're focusing on a game right now. If you want to do that, you know, there are other people for that kind of thing. I appreciate the sentiment, though. All right. Anyway, so in terms of role-playing and stuff, I think you could easily add role-playing into a game like this, especially as you are all co-oping together. There are many elements where this is very much a co-op game. If you guys don't work together, like if one person just decides that they don't want to cooperate, the mission very well could fail, and that's unfortunate. So yeah, it's interesting. Hold on one second. I have not done there we go. All right. There we go. I was getting a little distracting. Sorry, guys. I put Steve in timeout. Sorry, Steve. We're focusing on a game right now. I appreciate it, though. Okay. So, yeah, I guess defeat just ends in less war readiness points. And in order to get more war readiness points, you need to make certain decisions. Okay. Trying to get back on track. Thanks for your patience, everybody. So, let's see. So Shepard in this game is actually very much versatile. I feel like their powers as characters really describes well what they're like. I asked some folks who worked on the game if they knew that it was going to feel so much like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and they felt like, you know, maybe they hit the nail on the head because it is so intrinsic to the way the gameplay is in the actual video game. Lewis asks, have you played the game single player? If so, what are the biggest differences compared to playing with friends? I will say, compared to playing with friends, it's not as fun single player. I haven't quite done it yet. I intend to this week, just so that way I can do it in my bigger review video that is more edited and has a higher quality aspect to it. But I feel like you could still get a lot out of it playing single player by well, for me, I imagine the characters in my head and what they would say, what they would do. It's kind of fun getting into the characters' head of like, well, Rex has this element here, I'll pull it out. Rex has this thing called Rex Not Happy, and where he's just a killing machine. And like that's all he does. He's just like, he's ready to rage. He's basically the barbarian, if you guys have played Dungeons and Dragons. Tally's definitely more like an artificer type. I'm definitely more familiar with D&D than I am with board games, but I asked my friend who plays a lot of board games, and he said this game is very similar to something like Pandemic, where you are trying to basically put out fires on the entire board. So if it is just you, at least you know the strategy that you can have moving forward. But there's also limitations with that too, right? Like, there may be some solutions that you aren't necessarily thinking of that maybe somebody else in your party would. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. But this is Rex's character sheet. So these are like his abilities. You first start out with these ones, and let's see. Yeah, you first start out with these ones. So Blood Rage is like his basic one. It is very much like a barbarian in D&D. And then Rex Not Happy, that's built in, and so is Shotgun Blast? Yeah, Shotgun Blast. And so each of these characters have things that they start out with, and then as you go along, you unlock. And it's very much like the ability level up system in Mass Effect 3, where you start out with something, and then the better you get, or if you unlock this thing, then you can finally unlock this thing. And that's really cool. So it almost feels like you don't necessarily need to play the video game, or if you have more in-depth knowledge about that. But I think people who haven't played the game could easily pick this up and like understand what each thing does, because it's all pretty self-explanatory in that way. Rex puts his rage tokens here. So depending on how many dice you roll, I think it's like stars or something. Yeah. So it'll say for his blood rage, which is this meter that you keep track of, however many stars you roll, which is why you have so many dice, you can get however many blood rage tokens. And then for each one, you add like another element of damage to it. And that's really fun. Here is a way to keep track of your kills. The only unfortunate part about this is knowing that if you get 3 kills and you get to level up something like this, you max out at 3 for each campaign. Trying to figure out like what's a good way to describe this. Like you can keep doing campaigns, like there's like the mission 1, then there's loyalty mission 1, mission 2. Those are each different campaigns, but like for a full game, you can definitely fill up all of this and unlock everything if you wanted to. So that's kind of cool. These are shields, and shields regenerate every round. So the players also get to decide who gets to go first, but the person who gets to go first the first time can't go first again the next time. So you have to keep switching it up. There was a game or a campaign that I played this past weekend where we kept switching between Shepard and Tali because they were kind of tag teaming and making sure that certain things were happening before others. So like Tali is a little bit squishy, as she is, because, you know, she's not so much of a combat gal. She's definitely more of a technology and hacking type. So we had her hacking things while Shepard was trying to keep the heat off of her. But considering that every round you do, there are hazard cards that you pull up, and sometimes enemies just keep spawning. So enemies everywhere, but that will happen. So Shepard was there to try and keep heat off of Tali, more or less as a distraction. In some of the campaigns, the enemies are directly headed for Shepard or other characters, and that definitely added a different level of challenge to the game. Do you think the game is friendly towards players who haven't played a board game like it? That's a good question. There's definitely a learning curve. Really a learning curve. I would say there are board game players out there who play board games more often than I do, and they definitely have more experience explaining that kind of thing. I told my friend I don't know if I would be prepared to do a how-to video on how to play this game specifically, but I have a feeling somebody else is already working on it. There are probably videos out there that are going to show specific elements of how to play this game, because it can get complicated, it can get confusing. Some of the rules weren't super clear sometimes. In fact, in my larger video, I'm going to go over some changes that actually did end up making it into this game, but weren't totally fixed. I talked to some of the creators and they were able to tell me, oh yeah, like actually that was a typo. We meant to write this. So you know, that happens sometimes when, you know, a game this complex and very involved can happen. But I would say if you want to give it a go, definitely try it out. If you need help, I'm sure somebody out there, probably in a board game forum, would be happy to help. I wish that I could say that I could help, but even I don't always know sometimes, and I rely on my friend to help translate things for me. And even then, like as a very seasoned board game player, we still misunderstood something. So there was that. I hope that helps. I hope that's a helpful answer. Long story short, too long, didn't read. There's a big learning curve. If you haven't played very many co-op board games before, it will probably take you longer to figure it out and figure out how to play the game. It is possible. You will just have to study the rule book a lot. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So, I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? There's like a storybook too. But yeah, this is the rule book. There's a lot to go through. Let me see. It will break down all the spaces for you and what each icon means, but it is hard because you have to you know, kind of keep flipping through the pages. And there are story paragraphs to read through. So it's almost kind of like choose your own adventure if you choose to take a certain path. And I find that to be a lot of fun. Where is the... There is a book. Oh, the narrative. That's right here. Okay, so here's the narrative book. And this is what you will be referencing when it says flip to page or paragraph number 101 or something. And it'll tell you different things, how the campaign ends or if it continues, different character things that might happen, how much war readiness you end up getting. I don't want to show too much because it is kind of spoilery. It will say on the front page, do not read past this point if you don't want spoilers. So that's good to know. Let's see. Yeah, and the loyalty missions are pretty great too. I will say I debated trying to do Garrus's loyalty mission without Garrus, but my friend was like, I don't think that's a good idea because this was our first time playing it, but I think you could still do it without Garrus. Oh wait, maybe not. I might be remembering that wrong. Anyway. Thanks for all your questions. Please keep them coming if you have any more questions. I'm just kind of going through what's in the box right now. Just some really pretty art in here too. I love that we got more Mass Effect crumbs, as people are calling it. This game has saved my life. I knew it would be great. Oh, okay, good. So this will also show you what you go through on each of your turns. So it'll say, this says strategy roll. Roll all remaining dice in the strategy pool. If your squad mate is not on point, you may lock one die before rolling. So that means, I'll show you in just a moment as I unbox this. This is really pretty, by the way. I love that the plastic even has the Systems Alliance logo on it. It's really nice. This is very well thought out and has a lot of love put into it. Let's see. Okay. I also love that there's this bag here too. This is technically what you put your enemy tokens in. Excuse me, what you put your enemy tokens into. But we put the dice in here just because it was useful. But have your handy dice tray if you have one. So the first player, whoever decides to go first, is going to roll. I'm going to take these blue ones out and I'll explain what these are in a moment. I'm going to take all of these out. There's 12 of them total. Be sure to count them before you start because we did end up losing one and we had to search for it. So just know that can happen. So whoever goes first gets to roll all the dice. And then you look to see if there are any stars that come up. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. if I was playing Rex, each of these stars, I think, correlates for like a rage token. And you flip over the rage token as you do. For Commander Shepard, you would have a command token, and the command token turns an action into what I'm calling a super action. I don't think they call it that in the game, but I think it helps to differentiate. And a super action can either lead to more damage that a character could potentially do, and basically you're using this, you're using the command token and telling another character like, hey, like, go kick ass or something, and then like they can use a special. Actually, yeah, I should just call this a special. It's more or less a special if you use a die that looks like that and you have this available. But like I said, this is very complex. So once you have all of these die, player one, whoever's going first, gets to choose 3. So usually I'll do some, oh wait, rewind. When you roll the star die, once you mark it on your sheet, whichever character you're doing, you pick up all the dice that you rolled as stars, and then you roll them again. Okay, no stars came up that time, so I don't need to re-roll them. So what I'm gonna do, say I'm playing as Shepard, because I'm most familiar with playing as her, I usually do this action, which allows me to move 3 steps. So I'll choose that. I like having options, so I'll choose a move and an action option. This isn't both, it's one or the other. So when you play it, you tell people and you mark it on your sheet. And when you mark it on your sheet, let me see, where's Shepard? Shepard! Okay, here we go. And when you mark it on your sheet, you'll play it as, okay, say I'm gonna do first aid and I have this unlocked. I'm gonna say, okay, and then you place the die there where you're using it. So each of the players, or each character, gets to pick 3 die. So for Shepard, that's my second action. And then for my third action, let's say I wanna do shoot, which is here. If I have this icon available, I can do double the damage. And so I place that die there. So once all the die, all 3 of them, are placed onto my sheet, my turn is done. You don't have to play the dice right away when you pick them. I was just describing how to use them. So when you're doing, what is it called? They call it a strategy roll. I would recommend that everybody does a strategy roll first before you actually begin playing. That way you can all strategize together and figure out, okay, so if the next person who's playing is Tally, she gets to lock in whatever dice that's left, because Shepard now has 3. So she gets to lock in one of these. I like her to have options, so a movement and a action die. So I set that aside for her, and then she has to re-roll all of these and see what happens. So let's say I'm playing as Tally. Okay. No stars popped up that time, but this is Tally's new roll, and then she would pick 2 more dice based off of this roll, and then so on until the last person who goes. Say the last person is Rex. Rex would only have exactly 3 die to choose from. So let's say this is what Rex got left over from Garrus. He would choose one of these. So fun action token, special, I forget what it's called. It's a mission symbol. I'm trying to keep track. This is still challenging for me, y'all. I'm still trying to understand it. But he gets to choose a mission token, and then he gets to re-roll these 2. And then whatever comes up is what he has. So when you're all strategizing together, you have to figure out, okay, well, if I leave certain dice behind, sometimes we'll ask each other like, hey, the person who's next, do you need any of these before I pick from this amount? And somebody will be like, yeah, I could really use this one. be like, okay, here, let's give that to you, and then I'll roll for the rest of mine, or I'll choose the rest of mine. Hi, I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite board game on the Citadel. Thanks for being here. So I hope that makes sense with the dice specifically. Let me know if y'all have any questions. These Paragon die are added when you end up gaining Paragon points. And so you add in these die for each time that happens. There's only 2 of them though. But that adds an extra action that a character could do on their turn. So we will all talk about it. We'll say, okay, who gets the 4th die this round? Who should start this round? And whoever we deem to need the most actions, we will give them the 4th die or the 5th die, or we can split it between the 4 of us or however many else is playing. I was waiting for that line. You know, I can't do it as well as Mark Muir or Jen Hale, but I can try. That's great. Again, let me know if there's any questions about die. There's a little bit of a lag, so I might see it in a moment, but feel free to ask. So I'm gonna put these here for now. I'm gonna set these aside. Enemy tokens are gonna go in here. So that way, when, like, as you're killing enemies, downing them, whenever you pick up an action card, or what is it? A hazard card, sorry. Where are you? A hazard card, there's Reapers, and there's Cerberus. So that's kind of fun and exciting, but depending on what you get, it could be bad luck. So say I choose at the end of my round, you always pick up your hazard card and you read what's on it. Unfortunately, it's very anxiety inducing. So this one will say something like, spawn a minion at the closest empty spawn hex to the current squad mate, then activate that minion. And activating that minion means that they're gonna move closer to your character, or if they're already close to your character, they're gonna shoot at that character or do something or attack them. Let's see, Himadri says, what's that board game though? I just joined. Oh, this is the new Mass Effect board game from Modifius. I got this as a gift. It's a beautiful game, very well thought out. It feels a lot like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. So if you've played multiplayer, this feels a lot like that. There are character minis. It's gorgeous. Like, look at Liara. They're so small, but they're very detailed. And I can't wait to paint these. I'm very, very excited. I want to do them justice though. Let's see. Dirty says, is this my favorite store in the Citadel? It might be. I don't know. I know my favorite store in the Citadel is the BioWare gear store. Where I got this hoodie and this pillow and this pillow of Rex. I don't know if they're gonna end up selling this game on the gear store. I would really like it if they did. I think it would be perfect for fans, but I don't know. I know pre-orders are open right now through other board game companies and Modifius's website. Highly recommend pre-ordering this if this is something that captures your fancy. But these cards are so anxiety inducing. After every single round, you have to pick up one. Sometimes they'll even say, do all this stuff and then pick up a new one and also, make, what's the wording on it? Hold on, let's see if I can find it. No, that's not it. Trying to find what they say. Nope. I know for Cerberus, there's a lot of like, okay, pick a new hazard card and read it, or like resolve it. Yeah, they'll say something like resolve the next hazard card, which is not great. Let's see, nice hoodie. Where did oh, hey Angel. I bought it on the BioWare gear store. I don't think they're in stock right now, but keep an eye out for their shop. You know what? I should probably put up like a promo code because I can give you guys a 20% off promo code for the BioWare gear store. I don't know if they have this specific hoodie in stock though. I think they might have another one. but I like it a lot. This one rewind. This one I got from Insert Coin, and I like this one a lot. But I have heard and seen very good things about the BioWare Gear Store one. I just don't know if that one's in stock. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I'll put in a promo code on my channel. Follow along. Once this is posted, this live, I will probably keep it up, and then I'll put that in the comments. I'll probably pin it. And then I have a longer, more in-depth review about this game coming out probably later this week or next week. It's definitely higher production value. I show footage of us playing the game. I have my friends who also played it with me kind of giving their take on the game. 2 of them don't play board games hardly ever, and one of them plays board games all the time. So it's really nice to have that different points of view and figuring out, like, we're all Mass Effect fans, not always board game players. Yeah, let's see. The last time I visited their site, most of their stuff was out of stock. I started to think that they don't sell these anymore. They do. I think because of production stuff, they might be having trouble keeping things in stock for that reason, or it's like a limited release. So, you know, keep an eye out. I know their newsletter will go out sometimes and say like, hey, we've restocked these things, or it'll say on their Twitter or whatever, but I just keep checking because I'm embarrassing. I can't stop. I have Mass Effect brain rot. But seriously, like, look at these minis. They're so beautiful. And I say this as a fan, not necessarily as somebody that was gifted this. I am an artist. I love creating cosplays. I love making props. And this just makes my little artist heart sing. I can't wait to paint these. They're so lovely. I hear that they're coming out with more minis that you can order on the side to keep costs down for the overall board game, which I think is a very smart move. They also have male Shep and fem Shep together. Yeah, they're beautiful. I think they're resin 3D printed, perhaps. Very smooth, very nice looking. This is male Shep. Look at him. He's got his Omni tool, and is that the Valkyrie? No, that's the M8, I think. Yeah, something like that. And then Shepard has like I forgot which one that is, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Here, let me show that off a little bit better. But yeah, in my nicer, higher quality review video, I will have better shots of these. This is definitely a licensed product, like EA's and BioWare's info is all over this, and I could not be happier as a Mass Effect fan. Here is Tali. I know I showed Liara earlier, but really, really cool. And some people have already painted these, and they've done such beautiful work already. Yeah, I'm mostly excited for these. I would say if you're a fan, but not so much a board game fan, get them for the minis. Like, I think it's worth it for that alone. That's just me, though. As somebody who has wanted, like, a Mass Effect universe game of some kind that wasn't Risk or Monopoly, because I know that that exists, but I'm not playing either of those. Those aren't fun. At least not for me. Yeah, Rex is a hefty boy. I love the detail on his back. His little Krogan tail bit. And I love that he gets to rage so much in this game. It's great. So when we unboxed this, we did our best to keep all the tokens that go specifically on the board into its own bag. So I can show you what those look like. Let's see. Hamadri says Rex looking tanky as usual. Yes, he is. And if you guys like Mass Effect content, I do a lot of stuff. I actually co-moderated a panel at LA Comic Con last December, reuniting the voice actors for Tali, Morden, Thane, Jack, and was there one more? I think that was it. Sorry, my brain just died. I did not sleep very well last night. Too excited. But it was a delightful panel that we got to do, and the voice actors were just so full of love and life for this game still, even more than 10 years later. And I think it was the first time in at least 10 years that many of them had gotten together in the same room. And our room was packed. So yeah, we wanted to get Liara. We really wanted to. Unfortunately, she had a family emergency come up, but we're hoping we can nab her again for a future panel. I'm hoping that with the success of Veilguard, fingers crossed, that Mass Effect, the next game, will be coming out eventually. We don't know when, but I would love to do another panel with all of them. They were so sweet and so kind and had really great stories to tell about what it was like playing their characters and things like that. So check that out if you can. But these are the tokens that go on the board. So these are like things that you can pick up along the way. Sometimes they are intel, which is this, which will go on the intel board. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. Come here. Okay. So this is the campaign map. And you will mark off how much intel you get over here. So this will tell you per campaign or per game that you do. I don't know if campaign is for like the overall game from beginning to end, like all 4, or if campaign applies specifically to like first, second, third. But we're doing our best. Anyway, so yeah, and then like if you do loyalty missions, you mark them off here. There's also a path that you can follow. This is all over the place, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. So these are also where you put your war readiness points. I think we got up to like close to 15 when we stopped the other day. That was cool. But like if you start with 1A, you can take the path of a loyalty mission. You can choose one, and then you have to choose one of these maps after the loyalty mission. Then you can do another loyalty mission. They are optional, but I think it will help with war readiness points, and I think that's a good idea. And then from that loyalty mission, you get to do this one. I have not played this level yet, but I have played this level, and it goes up in complexity. So with these ones, I would say actually start with 1A. 1A is probably the simplest to start with, and then do a loyalty mission. But with each mission that you do, it does add extra layers of complexity. And there are some of these tokens, I don't actually know what they do yet, but I'm sure I will find out soon. Let's see. Hamadri says, finally a proper Emmy live content to have dinner with. Do you do Emmy gameplay lives? Not yet. I want to. I want to do it with mods, but the computer that I have is gonna be out of commission soon. It needs to go in for repairs. So I'm hoping to eventually, maybe on console, I can stream through Twitch. But right now I'm playing Jedi Fallen Order because I've never played it before and I thought it was a lot of fun. So I might do a yearly playthrough of Mass Effect 3 or 2, depending, after that. But we'll see what happens. That's a good question. Thank you for asking. I very well might. I very well might. And I might even have some special goodies along the way too. I have to plan that out. But sometimes there will be, what are these? These are refugee tokens. So these are like people who are prisoners. They look like humans, but they can easily be Turians or other individuals of a humanoid type. So these will end up being on a map at some point. This was part of Garrus's loyalty mission, where we had to rescue Turian prisoners during the campaign as well. And for every prisoner that we rescued, I think we got a war readiness point. I don't remember. But you could look it up. But then for some of the loot boxes that you get, you can get metagel, and things like that can be shared amongst the squad mates. So that's kind of nice. you can do that if one of you gets more injured than usual. Oh, and here's another thing too. Shields regenerate every round, so that's really nice. Especially if your health is getting low, at least you have that as a saving grace, but it's nice to plan for that and make sure like, okay, I can do this risky thing knowing that my shields are going to regenerate and I'm going to be okay. Or so-and-so is close to me, they can throw me a metagel or something like that, you know? These are turret tokens. Turrets are just as much of a pain in the ass on this game as they are in the actual video game. So I think they can only be hacked. I think. And then once they're hacked or downed, they go into this mode or disarmed. And only Shepard and Tally can hack. I think. Yeah, only Shepard and Tally can hack turrets. Liara does something else. But everything's very in character. Like their abilities, it's very well thought out. And then sometimes you'll come across locked doors. And you will also need to have Tally or Shepard unlock the doors for you. So then when you unlock it, it turns green, and that way you know, oh, okay, cool. And then there's like objective tokens like this. It's more or less just like if you gather however many of these will, you know, your mission, you can move on from there, and you don't have to focus on that anymore. So that's handy. Of course, you could always just say, you know, F it and do whatever. But then that, you know, sometimes there are renegade options and the renegade option isn't always great. Oh yeah, there's also grenades. So like if you pick up an item token and there's like a grenade in there, it hits for 3 damage, which is really nice. Oh, here's something that I can talk about, which was confusing for us at first. But now that I know, I can share with you guys. Put that away. So, let's grab. Let's get a husk or something. I hope this is helpful for y'all. Wow, it's already been over 45 minutes. Holy cow! I didn't think I was gonna go this long, but it's a big game. It's a really, really big game. Thank you for being here. I hope this is helpful. So, say there's an enemy on the map and it's a marauder. So this is how much health he has. He has 2, but this is how much he can hit you for 3 points. And he's ranged. So he can get you at a range point. That's what this little bullseye icon means. And I didn't know that. Is it only Liara? I think there's only 1 or 2 characters that can stun. So when they're stunned, they get flipped over like this. And that's kind of nice. And then you can still shoot them while they're down. This is a level 2 enemy, so you'll see that there's like 2 little things there that'll tell you. Let's see. Himadri asks, is it a bit like D&D? Only in the sense that there are character sheets and that it is a very story-driven game. There are a lot of things that can happen. There are a lot of things that can go wrong story-wise. You could play it as though it were like a D&D campaign where like you do things in character if you wanted to, but overall it is not like D&D in the sense that like you rolled a hit. Like you know that you hit because you are already next to the enemy. So that's nice. So say you're playing a Shepard and you want to shoot them, you place this, your first die on the shoot thing, and you shoot him for 2 damage. And that means this guy's gone. And he gets placed in this bag with the rest of the other enemy tokens. So that way, if there are more enemies that respawn, you can pull them out of here and surprise, it's this guy, and then you place it on the map. Water Eater says, are renegade options fun? That's a good question. The one that we did was pretty fun. You do get less war readiness points, unfortunately, at least in that circumstance. I haven't played all of these. I've only played maybe about 4 of these maps and story scenarios. So the one time we did a renegade option, it was nice because I was like, oh good, phew, like I don't have to like go and do this other thing that the Paragon option wants me to do. So I was like, I don't have time for this. I'm just gonna do it my way kind of thing. I think for some of the renegade options, unless you are specifically tasked with an objective, if you don't do that objective and you choose the renegade option, you will fail the mission. So just know that that's an option, that can happen. Yeah, some of them are great. Oh, Thomas, did you play it already? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Yeah, if anybody else has played this, I'm very curious to know your guys' thoughts. Going back to these guys, so these enemy tokens, this is a marauder for like a second level map. This was, I got these during Garrus's loyalty mission. Oh, Thomas says, but then again, some Paragon ones are quite lame. Oh, really? Good to know. Yeah, fair enough. I feel like having Admiral Hackett with his accolades towards me is enough. But maybe that's just me. And it says sometimes like when you finish a mission, you know, like it he will have a message for you and it's really fun. Wait, sorry, bit out of the loop. Are you talking about the video game or the board game, Thomas? I'm curious. Let's see. Where's the story? Yeah, here's the narrative book. So like if where's the okay, hold on. Example. I will read one of the ending ones. This is kind of spoilery. So I'll do it for the first one. Let's see. So if you okay. So for the very first mission, so for like 1A, oh, I see video game. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, yeah. I get that. For the board game though, it does add to the experience and it will give you more war readiness points. And you potentially won't fail the mission, so that's good. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You were so okay. So for like mission 1A, if you destroy both of the Cerberus mechs, you have completed the renegade path for this mission. So I'll read this one really quick. Close your ears, plug your ears if you don't want to hear a spoiler. But it tells me to go to paragraph 45, so I pull it up in the narrative book. And so it gives us a story context, and it says, as the Emir mech slams to the ground, the squad checks their thermal clips and breathes a sigh of relief. That was nastier than expected. When is it not? Garrus deadpans. Now, let's see about those equipment caches. The mission ends immediately. Mark a renegade victory on the campaign map. Mark 2 war readiness, or 3 if at least 2 turrets have been disabled. Additional loot tokens will be available in future missions. Now read story paragraph 110. So then you go to 110, keep plugging your ears if you don't want to hear any spoilers. Let's see. Water Eater says, yeah, playing as Paragade Shep is fun in 2 and 3. Yeah, totally. And you always shank Kai Lang. Always. Let's see. Oh shoot. I lost track. What was that? 45? Hold on. 110. Okay. So then you go to 110. And this is still spoilery, so plug your ears or click away if you don't want to hear it. So then Joker says, are you doing okay, Commander? That valley fight seemed rough. Bad news first. Scanners reading Cerberus to the left of you, Cerberus to the right. The main mech bay is filled with even more gear, but if you'd rather not deal with them, you can skate through this handy hull breach to get further into the cruiser. There's a weird energy signature in there, though. So now you get to choose your stage 2 mission. If you choose to infiltrate via the elevator, your next mission will be 2A Missing Stair. If you choose to assault the mech bay, your next mission will be Atlas Binary. If you would like to attempt a loyalty mission first, mark the loyalty waypoint on the path to your chosen stage 2 mission. If you prefer to skip the loyalty mission, mark the waypoint for your chosen stage 2 mission. The mission is now over. You can now begin your next mission by following instructions on page 19 of the rulebook. So it's kind of nice that it leads you through this thing. So for reference, you would mark all of that on this campaign map, like which story you were taking. And it's nice because it comes with a dry erase marker, so you can just erase and mark as you need to. Cannot listen. Sorry, yeah. Okay, I'm done. We're done with spoilers. We're done. Thank you. So for those of you who listened, thank you. I might edit that part out. We will see. But yeah. So, oh yeah, and I keep meaning to talk about these. Okay, so enemy tokens. These are health. This is how much they hit you for. Initially, we thought this was health and this was shields. We were so confused. Thankfully, it's not like that, like our characters that we're playing. And they can't, these guys can't regenerate. Oh, wait. I take that back. I think these guys can regenerate shield/health after every round like us. So that's why it's a good idea to just knock these down while you can. So these are like however much damage you have to do. So it's like pew pew, I killed, I shot him. He's got 1 damage now. Or if he is something to do with biotics, you use this side of this token. Let's see. Hamadri says, I mean, I thought the left one was health and the right one was shield too. Yeah, and that was a bit of a learning curve for us, especially because our character sheets have that. So it's good to know that going in. Yeah, there's a lot to this game, but it really is a lot of fun, and I think it's worth it, especially once you get it down. It goes very quickly once you get it down. And it's really fun with friends. They could have changed the logo for health a bit. Yeah, maybe a bit. Maybe in the next edition they will. I know that there were a few mistakes that happened. So one thing I will go over in the longer video is Garrus has an ability called, where is it? Okay. So he has an ability called Proximity Mines. It was called something else in either the narrative book or on the campaign map for his loyalty mission. But, we're humans. We all make mistakes. So this got through playtesting somehow. But just know that if they say something about like precision shot, it's actually this. It's Proximity Mines, I think. Or is it concussive shot? I don't remember. I'll have to put it in my longer video later. Let's see. I mean the attack. Yeah, that's fair. Precision shot is, oh, hi Gavin. Hi. Oh my gosh, yes, precision shot is armor piercing. That's what I meant. Yeah, thank you for your correction. I appreciate it. Hello, thank you for being here. Oh gosh. No, I'm like, how long have you been there? Of course, it's fine. I've been really enjoying the game overall. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a pretty steep learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, it comes pretty quickly. It helped to have my friend who's very used to playing board games there be like, oh yeah, remember at the end of each round, remember to pull your hazard card, and then reading it off and wondering what your fate is with the more enemies spawning or something else happening. Concussive shot is just another ability in ME3. Got it. Oh, you did just arrive. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. I've been going for maybe almost an hour now. So I've been excitedly telling people about how the character sheets work, how I organize some of the tokens. These are the tokens that go on the map. What this bag is for enemies everywhere, showing off the minis. I think it also really helps to talk about that the enemy tokens, that this is how much they can hurt you for and this is how much their health is. Oh, and this guy, I think this means they can rush. That symbol specifically, whereas the other one was more or less like a marksman. Yeah. So this guy can rush, and this guy's a marksman. So he can hit you from afar, but this guy can rush at you. So it's good to know. And when there's a lot of these coming at you, oh boy, just watch out. Let's see. Himadri says water. Yeah, concussive shot ability was too good. I used to spam those when I was out of ammo. Yeah. Oh man. I'm so excited. Oh, here are, okay. So these are the elite enemies. One of them, I haven't encountered this guy yet, so I'll bring out the Ymir. I think that's how you pronounce it. Ymir? Ymir? I don't know. But these guys, so this has the health counter as an X because it's telling you to refer to the elite enemies on the map that you choose. So that's where that is. So this is their health. And every time you end a round and there's only partial damage to part of their health or that shield section, like say there's only 2 damage to that first shield, that regenerates. So you need to make sure that first part of the shield is down completely before you end that round. And that's why everybody has to work together. Price of the game seems quite reasonable. I would say so. I've seen games upwards of $80, and I think in US dollars this is 50, and it's very, very well priced, especially for what you get. And like I said, for me, the minis were the sticking point. They're so beautiful, but that's also me. I'm biased. Yeah, I hope this helped. I wish I knew enough about board games to like lead everybody through a how-to of how to play the game, but I feel like there are better people suited for that. I'm just coming at this from a Mass Effect fan standpoint and helping maybe clarify some things, so that works out. Let's see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm all caught up in chat. Cool. Let me know if there are any other questions, any other comments. My friend who has played board games a lot said this feels very much like Pandemic in the sense that you need to work together. And if you don't work together, bad things are going to happen. So that's actually kind of fun because when my husband was playing as Rex, he was like, literally all I can do is kill things. And you're telling me not to kill things? And we're like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Like we had to like talk Rex down, and it felt very much like Mass Effect in that way. Let's see. How many players can play together? So it says 1 to 4. There should be 4 characters total in each game that you play. If you only have yourself, you can play as all 4 characters. If you have 2 people can take on 2 characters. And if there's 4 people, they each get 1. I have a group event coming up for my N7 Mass Effect fan group, and we are gonna play together soon at some point. And I think if the group is big enough, we might just have to split into teams. So that's also an option, but then everybody gets to collaborate together as best as possible. And I think that's possible. Let's see. Yeah, also soloing isn't really an option. Actually, it is. Well, soloing it, I don't know actually. I haven't gotten to a point where I feel like there is a character, like characters can go in alone. It is very much like Shepard with 3 other squad mates. So it's kind of nice that it's 3 other squad mates as opposed to 2. Oops, as opposed to 2 for you know, in the games. I feel like it provides more opportunity for cooperation. That's a word now. Cooperation between all 4 players or however many are playing, and things like that. I wouldn't recommend taking in 1 character. You could try, but I think it would be very difficult to achieve everything. Yeah, 1 to 4 players at the time. Yeah. I don't know if there will be any expansions. It would be really cool if there were. Hint, hint. I know that there are more minis that are available for pre-order as well, and I think I might order a few just because I'm really excited to paint the ones. I'm very, very pleased with this. It's so beautiful. Maybe. Ooh. You heard it first here, folks. So 1 player is always Shepard, and the other 3 are chosen among the squad mates. Yes, that is correct. So you always need Shepard in the game. But you can choose between Tali, Liara, Rex, and Garrus to be the other 3. Board game version of Insanity difficulty. You could try. I'd be very curious to see how that goes. Yeah. Yeah, as an artist and as a cosplayer and as somebody who really, really loves the universe of this game, so much love was put into it, you can really tell. And despite like learning curve hiccups, I think it's really worth it. It's so worth it to try and learn the game because the mechanics do feel a lot like the video game at a certain point. If you guys ever played Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, there are certain points where like somebody has to hack at a terminal, either if it's Tally or Shepard, and everybody else has to try and keep fire off of them. And that feels so much like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer to me. It's super fun. Yeah. And then of course, like, you know, the enemies continuing to respawn, which is kind of intense. But this is how the box looks when you, I just realized I never showed this, but this is how I organized it. All of the pieces that go for damage and biotics. We put all the Cerberus people together, all of the elite enemies together, all of the Reaper enemies together, and then to keep track of your shields, there is blue and red for health. Oh, I feel like we're missing. Oh no, there it is. Whew. And yellow, I think, is for Garrus's, what is it called? Where did I put it? Oh, it's on my lap. I wonder if they'll make a PvP version of this game in the future. That's an interesting question. I don't know. Considering that the base of it is very co-op, I doubt it. But you could probably homebrew something and make that work. Brings back memories of completing the trilogy on Insanity. Gavin says, we wanted to do not just a good game or a Mass Effect game, but a good Mass Effect game. You guys really knocked it out of the park, seriously. I'm in awe. Oh, okay, so I think those little yellow things are for Garrus's aim tracker, and it's also for, where's Liara? Liara's analysis tracker too, I think. So you would move that yellow cube over and over again until you get enough. A board game version of the ME3 MP. You could homebrew something. That could be really fun. I have wanted also a Mass Effect TTRPG, like a D&D style. I know that there are already D&D type things out there, but I think it would kind of need its own rules apart from D&D because D&D is already so well established and it doesn't always translate well to the mechanics of biotics and you know, certain character abilities, but that's just me. Let's see. Yeah, cool. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. Keep an eye out for my higher quality review later. It will definitely be more concise. This was definitely more just stream of thought. And thank you. It means a lot that you're here. And drop me a follow if you want. I do gaming streams, I do cosplay DIY, I also do some, well, I am working on a few cosplay music videos in character as Shepard. And my friend who cosplays as Garrus with me, we're both very excited and passionate about this world and this universe, and the costuming group that I've brought together, we just love it so much, and we're super excited to play this game together this weekend. I cannot wait to teach them and show them. You're welcome, size 16s. I appreciate it. Thomas says, I have been sharing my love of Mass Effect with a few friends, and this seems to be something we'll greatly enjoy. Yeah, I think so. I'm curious to know how it goes. Please let me know. Himadri says, will cosplay Shepard dance awkwardly too? Absolutely. In fact, I have already done it. I should probably post it somewhere. Thank you for being here, Gavin. It means a lot. I really, really do. It's an honor. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.